Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cold War Prepper. My name is Lee. And gosh, thank you for being here. We've got Muskoka Oma, we've got Scott Hummer, we've got Teresa. I think it's Buchanan. Let me go back up here and make sure. Yeah, Buchanan, Teresa Buchanan. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Diana, too. Welcome. So, a little bit of exciting news. Spent almost an hour and a half on the phone today with a friend of mine, David Lynn, Prepper Principal. He's just south of here by about 2.5 hours. We measure distance in hours of driving here in Texas. But anyhow, he's about 2.5 hours south of me. But we had a really good chat on the phone today. And we're trying to work out a date some Monday evening. His expertise is in solar power. And so what we're going to do is see if we can't get him on, and we're going to have an hour-long discussion about solar alternatives to powering your house, especially we have all of these threats of the grid going down and overconsumption and lack of production, and we're not replacing any production. I guess one of the good things about what's going on right now is it appears as if that one group who has been very obstinate about it over the course of the last 50 years. The last nuclear power plant that was built in the U.S. was the Limerick power plant in Pennsylvania, in between Reading and King of Prussia in Pennsylvania. And that's our newest nuclear power plant here in the U.S., and that was back in the early 70s. So at least now they realize that they are admitting that if we're doing away with all the coal production, if we're doing away with all the natural gas and other production of power, that we're going to have to do something else. And so solar is not going to be able to help us 24 hours a day. Wind does make a little bit of sense. Here in central Texas, the drought is killing us. And so hydropower is down. So it looks like nuclear is going to be the only way for us to go. Hello, Little Lone Prepper. Welcome, welcome. But anyhow, gosh, yeah, please stay safe. I understand that the storms up there in the Northeast are really, really bad. They're talking about some humongous hail in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, up in that Northeast corridor. So please take care and stay safe. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get into it because I have an awful lot to show you and an awful lot to discuss. What we've been talking about here in the past is we were talking about food and odor discipline. So one of the things you might want to do is use up all the stuff. You want to be just like your neighbor. You want to be the gray man. And so whatever they're doing, the neighbor's doing, you want to do. Then when they run out of food, you don't want them to know that you're eating, or else everybody's going to come to you. So one of the ways you can give that away is through odor. Now the odor can be one of two ways. It can either be from your heat source, charcoal, wood burning, whatever. Then the other one, of course, is going to be the odor of your food cooking. So maybe for that first week or two, after everybody stopped cooking all their stuff in the refrigerators, their pantries, and everything else, you're going to be inside either eating ready-to-eat meals, or you're going to be eating meals that only require boiling of water and then adding water to that meal in order to cook it. So I want to go through a whole bunch of different things for possibilities tonight. One of the things I like to do is I like to keep original packing for a lot of my materials, simply because it's a lot easier to store that way. For example, the first thing we're going to talk about for safe indoor heating is the UCO candelier. This has 3 candles inside of it. It does have a little tray up on top. It's not going to boil water, but it will get water hot. And so that is, since it is candles, basically that's going to be one of your safe ways of providing heat indoors for your home, so that you aren't going to be giving away an odor that you're cooking because you're going to be burning candles inside your house. So that's option number 1. Option number 2 is going to be, if I can find it, a sterno stove. Okay, so this is basically an indoor sterno stove. And what makes it an indoor sterno stove is the type of fuel you're going to use on the inside. So you can, hello, Holly Irvins, you can use either the safe heat. Now, there's 2 types of sternos out there. You got to be careful. The red one is a higher temperature, but it's not approved for indoor heat. You've got to go to a food supply company or a commercial food type place Sam's Club has them. Costco has them in their commercial area, but it's called Safe Heat, and it's a canister that's safe for indoor heating. It doesn't produce a whole bunch of carbon monoxide. You can put that down inside here, and that will heat up your item. It may take 6 or 7 minutes to get a pot of water to boil, but I'm going to show you a solution for that as well. One of the other ones, and one I've done a lot of, is this is my Boy Scout, what I call Boy Scout stove. So what I've done is I've taken cardboard and I've cut it to where it's just below the lip of the can, and rolled it up inside so you can see that all the pores are sticking out, pointing towards the top of the can. So you can see how the corrugation is pointing up. Then I melted some paraffin, put the paraffin in. So basically what this is a humongous candle. You're burning paraffin and cardboard. The cardboard's acting more as a wick than it is burning. So this is another one of those. It's safe for indoor burning. You can use that. Put it inside your stove here. And then, of course, as you have it up, you can put your pot on top of that. I love this one for an alternative I want to show you here in a minute for a way of cooking your foods. The next one is going to be the butane stove. So this is the Sterno butane stove. And it's a single burner stove. So let me show you what it looks like on the back. It's got a picture. So that's what it looks like. You've probably seen these if you've been at a hotel and they have the people cooking eggs in the hotel for breakfast. That's what that does. Now it uses these little canisters, again, inserted inside of the machine. One of these canisters is good for probably about 6 hours of heat if you keep it at a medium temperature. So these last a pretty good long time. Hello, Scott. Welcome. Sandy, welcome. I think I already said hi, Scott. Well, anyhow, so those are 3 alternatives of how you can have a heat source that is safe for indoor flames. Make sure you always have a carbon monoxide detector. Make sure you always have a fire extinguisher close by. Now, one of the things that can expedite your using boiling of water, remember that has no odor. Okay, so that's what we want to do. We want to, if we're going to have anything we have to cook, we just want stuff we're going to add boiling water to. So I have to strongly recommend the Kelly kettle. So I'm going to use the diagram side here. So your heat source is coming up from the bottom. The interior becomes the chimney. So the interior is hollow, and you're using that smoke and that heat going up through the entire channel of the bottle. And then it's double walled around. So all your water is around that chimney as the water at the heat is coming out. So you get very quick boiled water. This is the smallest size they have. This is 0.6 liters, just under half a quart. Then they have a 1.2 liter size, and they also have a 1.6 liter size. So 1.6 liters is about a quart and a half. So just under half a gallon. But you can using very minimal heat source, you can get stuff boiling 3 to 5 minutes. So very efficient as far as getting your water heated so that you can put it in. Now that we've got that accomplished, I'm going to show you a couple things. So I'm going to show you both foods you can eat raw, straight out of the packaging, I should say, because it's pre-cooked. Hello, Triple G. And then I'm going to show you some that you just add hot water to. And those would be, okay. So it does have a handle on the top, and then it does have a handle on the bottom that are safe from the heat so that you can use that pour spout and you don't have to worry about burning yourself. And yeah, it can be a little bit clumsy until you learn how to do it. But that's what that bail up on top and the handle down on the bottom are for, to help you with that. So I was afraid the first time or two too. I was afraid of sloshing more than anything else. Okay, so now then, if we're going to have, and I want to get this out of the way simply so I can clean up some space around here. There are 2 options. And so I watched a video last night, and the guy said, Lee doesn't buy packaged foods. He only buys components. Well, Lee's been doing this for 50 years. Lee has a lot of stuff. So you can get Mountain House Foods. Okay, this is prepackaged. I had this. I fell in love with it. We were one of the first consumers of it back in the 60s. at Philmont Scout Ranch in northern New Mexico. Gorgeous area. This is what we carried, and of course we had streams so we could use for the water. Heat up your water. This is in the pouch. You add the water to the pouch, reseal it, let it steep, and it becomes a meal. So this is food for one meal. Okay. Now, this is very expensive relatively. If you want to decrease your cost, you want to get it in a number 10 can. So this number 10 can has, let me see. Oh gosh, number of servings per can, 7. So there's 7 servings here versus here. This is 1. This is about 4 times the price of this. Okay, so that's very, very cost effective. There are several companies that do that. You have Wise Company makes some. These are good. I like Wise Company. We've got Legacy Brands. Now, Legacy Brands, they come in family size units, but it's basically the same concept. You're going to add boiling water to it, and you'll have a complete meal after it seeps. I just bought this one the other day, just became aware of it. This is O-Meals. And the nice thing about O-Meals is it contains its own heating source. So once it's kind of like an MRE. You open up the package, take out the utensil, and then you add water to cover the heating source. The heating source then chemically produces heat, and that heats up your meal. So this is all self-contained, and there is no odor either of the heat source or of your food. Okay, so that's pretty much kind of those types of things. Let's talk about some ready-to-eat things. In the Army, we have what's called MREs, and we have what's called LRP rations, okay? So this is an MRE. This is a meal ready to eat. And so this one happens to be shredded beef and barbecue sauce. And this has got everything you need for a combat ration. Now, be careful. They do have a reputation for, there's a reason why they only give you so much toilet paper. You really don't need it if you eat too many of those. For the long-range reconnaissance patrols, hello, Creative Redundancy, welcome. So for long-range reconnaissance patrols or LRP rations, they use something different. You get something that looks like this, and it's a little bit smaller. It's very good. This happens to be the sandwich shelf-stable Italian-style sausage with sauce, okay? So this is the military version. This is the civilian version of the exact same thing, okay? So this is Bridgeford's ready-to-eat sandwiches, Italian sausage with sauce. This is going to run you about $8 or $9 for 2 sandwiches, and you can get this at either Bass Pro Shop or at Cabela's. This is the military version. This is the civilian version. Good product. There's about 6 different flavors of sandwiches that you can get, and they do a fantastic job. The military also has some other things, like this is an apple turnover. You can get all those different desserts and things like that, breads. They have tortillas. They have cheesecake. They have cheesecake, pound cake. They have pound cake, all those other different kinds of things that are great as well. Some other things you might want to consider. Okay, so back behind me, you see these in all my videos. Maple Almond Grain Crunch, which is basically a cereal. Mix that with powdered milk. All you need is cold water. Mix some powdered milk. Make some milk. You can eat a cold cereal and have that as a meal. You've got chocolate chip cookie meals. That comes 2 different ways. You can get it in the number 10 can with individual servings, or you can get it in the bars. And this is what I use for my bug out bags. And my favorite's the peanut butter meal. But this is the chocolate chip meal. That's Helen's favorite. Let me see some other things that we have here. Just add water to egg drop soup. So you just pour it into a canteen cup, pour that soup in it, and you've got a egg drop soup. You've got, of course, this is just eat straight out of the package Spam. You've got chicken creations. You've got pulled pork. You've got roast beef, tuna, all those different things, and these individual serve packages. So those are ideal for bug out bags. And if you're a single person, those are ideal for you because you don't want to open a whole can of Spam, let's say. And if you can't eat the whole thing because you may not have refrigeration available to you. So only buy the container size that you can realistically expect to eat for that meal. So if it's you and a spouse or you and a child, buy something a little bit bigger or buy 2 individuals. If it's you and 3 others, you might want to go for a whole can. So that's kind of how you might want to plan those things out. Another one of those, just add hot waters, is Nutrient Survival has most of theirs. This is Southwestern Medley. The Homestyle Scramble, this one here, is basically what I call a mountain man breakfast. So that's hash browns, scrambled eggs, bell peppers, onions. It doesn't have any meat products, but you just put that into a retort pouch or something, add hot water, and let it steep. Now, Rudy from Alaska Prepper showed me a secret, okay? These are available at Walmart. So they're a little bit on the expensive side. They're about $20, $25. But this is, and it even comes with a little cleaning scraper inside, a double wall thing. So you put your Nutrient Survival or any other thing you want to cook with, let it seep. That can include that number 10 can of Mountain House or anything like that. Put your food in here, add the proper amount of water, seal it up, let it seep. Now it does have a escape vent here, so you can release the pressure from all that hot water and all the steam it's going to cause as a result of the steeping when you're cooking. And then once you open this up, you've got a meal. All you got to do is stir it up, make sure everything's good to go. You've got a fantastic meal. You can add things to it and really enhance it. So like I said, the Mountain Man Breakfast, basically the Homestyle Scramble from Nutrient Survival, is a great meal. But if you want to make it a super meal, just toss in a can of diced ham. So this is already cooked. Anything that's in a can is pre-cooked, basically. It's been pressure cooked, heat cooked in the can. So if you add this ham to the Homestyle Scramble, put in a little bit of boiling water, put it inside the seeping mechanism, you've got a fantastic meal. Nobody knows you're eating. There's no odor to it whatsoever. Some other things you might want to consider, you can get these. This is a cup of noodle, curry soup. You can get instant Marushan's instant lunch. Now this one, it's got shrimp in it. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to enhance it with a can of medium shrimp. So this can of medium shrimp will actually feed probably 4 people if each one has one of these Maruchans. And then you're not cooking anything. There's no odor. All you're doing is boiling water. Same thing. You could some of the other things you could add to it. You've got crab meat. You've got minced clams. You can, if you're doing something like any other kind of noodles, you can add chicken breast. You can add roast beef. By the way, this goes fantastic if you get a package of instant mashed potatoes and a package of instant gravy. Just pour your boiling water into the package of mashed potatoes and into the package of gravy. Stir them up real good, pour them onto your plate, and then add this roast beef on top, and you've got roast beef and mashed potatoes, and it's fantastic. I think I did a video on that a little while back, and we tried that here. In the Army, one of the MREs, one of the Meal Combat Individual, MCI, we called them C-Rats back in the Vietnam days, was just strictly tuna on crackers. I was going to get out my pilot bread and show you pilot bread. You can get that from several different vendors. My favorite there is Emergency Essentials. But all of my pilot bread are in cases underneath all of my noodles. I didn't want to move everything around in order to do that. So that kind of became problematic. Bumblebee makes a whole bunch of fantastic cracker snacks. You can get chicken salad, ham salad, tuna salad. They've got all different kinds of fantastic little snacks. These are great for you to use as far as you don't have to cook anything. Eat it straight out of the package, and you've got a fantastic meal there. Another one you can add boiling water to is fried rice or Spanish rice. Any of the Knorr's rices, just pour your thing in. Make sure you have a paper clip or some sort of a clip, and you want to cut this fairly close to the top, because after you pour the water in, you want to seal it up. This wasn't intended for you to use this way, so you've got to kind of improvise. And but what we do when we're camping is we just put a paper clip or a binder clip or something like that over the top after we add the hot water in, let it steep for about 15 minutes. You got fantastic fried rice. in this case, Spanish rice. Of course, you got ramen noodles. You can add almost anything too. And some other ideas, canned goods, all canned goods, basically, you can eat straight out of the can, no problem at all. 3-bean salad from Reed's is phenomenal. I have a case of this. This is just great stuff to have around. Pork and beans is just a phenomenal meal. You can enhance this by opening up a can of Vienna sausage and adding your Vienna sausage to your pork and beans. And that's going to give you even more value for that meal. And then, of course, in the military, we had SpaghettiOs, or basically they called it spaghetti with meatballs and tomato sauce. It was an M unit in the MCI. And so that's basically this. This is just, the civilian version of the meal combat individual or C ration spaghetti and meatballs. So I wrote that down. Where did I put that? I've got it here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. So what were all of the C rations that we had during the Vietnam era? We had one. So these are 12 versions of cans of entrees that you could get: beefsteak, chicken loaf, turkey loaf, chopped ham and eggs, ham slices, which was basically Spam, can of tuna, beans and meat chunks in tomato sauce, which is basically beanie weenies, ham and lima beans. That's another good one. So what you can do is kind of take your, well, that would cause an odor though. But I was going to say you can mix your ham and lima beans and cook those, but that's going to be odor. That's going to have a little bit of an odor. So I probably know, but we'll forget that one for right now. Beef slices and potatoes, we called that beef and boulders. And we had nicknames for everything. We had the chocolate bar with coconut in it, we called the Shirley Temple, and then the straight chocolate bar we called the John Wayne, because you had to have John Wayne's teeth to bite into it. There was one MCI that was meatloaf, C-Rat that was meatloaf, and then of course the number 12 was good old spaghetti and meatballs in tomato sauce. So let me get to my notes here and read you all of that, and then so let me get here to what I typed up. And of course, as always, if you would like, just send me an email and I'll send you my notes. So non-cooking meals, you can either eat straight or just add hot water. Commercially prepackaged, you've got 4 Patriots, Backpackers Pantry, Bridgeford, Good to Go, Legacy, Mary Jane's Farm, Mountain House, MREs, My Patriot Supply, Nutrient Survival, O Meals. That's that brand new one I found just this last weekend. Packet Gourmet, Patagonia, Peak Refuel, Ready Hour, and Wise Foods. Wise is one of the oldest ones. For do-it-yourself, canned beans, canned fish. Now that could be any of the canned fish, to include sardines and mackerel. I found canned tuna. So there's all kinds of fantastic canned fish. Canned fruit. Some of the B rations. So in each one of the C rations, you had one entree, which was the M. Then you had a B unit and a C unit. So the B unit, that was going to be something like canned fruit or something like that. And the most common one was, what do they call it, where you have all the different canned fruits together in one. What's it called? I forget what it's called. Anyhow, then you got canned condensed soups. You just add water and then pressure seep it in that thing I showed you that Rudy taught us about. Cold cereal with milk. Now you can store cold cereals for quite a while if they don't have sugar on them. So look for Cheerios, the basic Cheerios, Corn Flakes, Rice Krispies, shredded wheat, Raisin Bran. None of those have any sugar in them. They will last you a little bit longer if you vacuum seal those. Of course, cream of wheat and oatmeal, just add boiling water, let it seep. Cup of noodles, you can add shrimp, any of the other fin, canned chicken, diced ham, roast beef, whatever. Instant potatoes, and just add water. Same thing with the gravy, and add the roast beef. Instant rice and canned chicken or ham plus veggies. Lipton instant soup, Maruchan instant lunch, can of potted meat, ramen, tuna, and Vienna sausage. So those are kind of all the different things that you have you can kind of do that are going to keep you alive without other people knowing that you're eating. Pick up some of these nutrient survival meals in a cookie or survival meal packages, like this one that we use for our bug out bags. I think you'd be happy with those. And so that's pretty much it. I got through it a lot quicker than I anticipated. And now let me get back into here and see what we have as far as fruit cocktail. Thank you, Sue Me. I love it when you guys help me out. You are so kind. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Diana too. Thank you. You've got it too. So Sandy asked, any idea how to store chocolate long term? I have a solution, but it's not the best solution. I vacuum seal mine. So I do have M&Ms, plain, and M&Ms with peanuts. And I will take them out of the bag. I will put them into a canning jar, and then I'll vacuum seal those, either with an oxygen absorber or something like that, just to try to get the oxygen out of there. They have lasted. We've eaten them 2-3 years afterwards. My grandchildren found them, and so they like them. But anyhow, that's how we do that. As far as chocolate itself, like cocoa powder, we keep cocoa powder, but we keep it in the original tin unopened, and that's going to last us a while. It does well as long as we have air conditioning here in Texas. It's 104, possibly 107 today. So right now, as long as the house is cool and we got it at 74, 76 degrees, it's good to go in a cool, dark place. Once we lose air conditioning, if the grid goes down, it's going to become more problematic to store chocolate for longer periods of time. So for a white gas stove, I use the Coleman 2-burner. I didn't bring it out here for this demonstration simply because it's not safe for indoor use. Because of that white gas, you do have to use it outdoor. So I have my old, basically 2-burner stove. In Boy Scouts, we used what I showed you, the Boy Scout, my Boy Scout stove. And so basically what you're going to do is you're going to have a folding sterno stove type of setup, and you're going to have a homemade, this is an old chicken or tuna can. We used a side opening can opener. Then I cut some cardboard to where it's 1/8 of an inch more shallow than the top of the can. So you can now put this on top, and with a rubber band, you can keep that in place and it stays good. So then I roll the cardboard inside with, notice that the perforation is sticking up, and then I melt some paraffin and put that in here, and this becomes then one humongous candle that produces a lot of heat, and that's what we used at Philmont. Now, you have to remember, I'm talking back in the late 60s, so I'm sure things have gone since then. Probably a jet boil might be what they're using nowadays. I've got a jet boil here at the house. We'll talk about that when we talk about outdoor cooking. So for outdoor cooking, I have the jet boil. I also have the 2-burner Coleman stove. And then, of course, any of this, I also have a rocket stove. And then I have a solo stove, which is basically a gasification stove. I love it. I keep it on the back porch because that's what I use when I want to cook outdoors, is I want to use it. Yeah, so as far as a white gas stove, I'm going to recommend either the Coleman 2-burner stove, or I'm going to recommend the jet boil system. Now, there's another one I don't have, I can't afford, but the nice thing about it, and I forget the name of it, but it has the same jet boil type of a burner and gas canister underneath. And as it comes up, it has a heat-induced system where it generates electricity, so you can actually charge things like a cell phone and other things from the electricity that's generated while you're cooking. And I forget the name of that system. I'm sorry. I don't have one. Let me see where we are here. Yes, so potato flakes are phenomenal. We get the individual ones, $1 a package at Walmart. You have to be careful though. Don't get any with any of the flavorings. You just want straight potato flakes. If you aren't going to get them from Walmart, then I recommend you get the ones from the LDS Provident Living Center. Their can of so a number 10 can of potato flakes is $7.28, and it serves 30. It has 39 servings, almost 40 servings, 1/3 cup serving per person. So you can do things like that, and that is phenomenal. That's a great way. And of course, once again, that's just add boiling water and let it seep. Um, I have a Big Buddy heater, and so I don't use it for cooking. We used it during Snowmageddon. So I had two things that we used for heat during Snowmageddon. We used the Big Buddy, but there is a concern I have with it, and that is that I have heard, I don't know if it's true or not, I have heard of them tipping over, and the automatic shutoff when it tips over has not turned off, and it's caused some fire damage. So I only use the Mr. Buddy when there's somebody there to attend to it. We also have the InstaFire Vesta heater, which is basically, gosh, let me see. I keep it right here next to me in the dining room. Let's see if I can get it up here. No, not from where I am. I showed a video on it, but basically you can put in 3 of those safe heat canisters inside of it. One of them does the same thing with that induction fan, so it provides the heat so that there's a circulating fan, and then the other 2 provide the heat that gets blown through, so that you have basically a fan-driven heater with 3 sterno cans, safe heat cans, and that is safe for indoor use. So yeah. I have not tried powdered butter, peanut butter. We have That's one of Helen's favorite things, and that's very carb effective for her. So we have to be really, really concerned about her carb intake. So we usually have about 8 jars of Jif, and that's her preferred um, peanut butter. So we usually have about 8 of those in our pantry at any one time. I do have a number 10 can or 2 of powdered peanut butter in case it lasts long, in case the rate what we're going through lasts longer than that. We can't get any others. Let me see here. Jet boils, French press. Yes, absolutely. Um, as Yeah, you're going to get a little bit of odor with a pour over, but instant coffee, anything you can get instant is going to be phenomenal. Um, and how did that work for you, Tracy? Did that taste pretty good? Um, there is a package called Completes by Hormel, and David Lynn Prepper Principal showed those on a short he's got going on. I didn't like the taste of them. They're supposedly the same batch, same everything as what goes in the cans. I don't know whether it was my psychology, my reluctance or whatever. I don't know, but to me, they just didn't taste as good as in the can. So I continue to get Hormel beef stew in the can. That's one of those that has a very, very long shelf life. Um, Yes, French press is phenomenal. I did a video, oh gosh, about a year ago on how I'm going to fix coffee in a post SHTF environment, because to me, coffee is everything. And, you know, 21 years in the Army, and that's all we did was live on coffee. But, you've got pour over, you've got French press. I've got a percolator, a camp percolator. You've got instant with a coffee pot. There's so many different ways that you can do. I've even got, believe it or not, a campfire espresso machine. So basically, it's got a little um, canister. You screw the top on. You put your uh, water in it. As the water boils, it gets turned into steam and gets forced through your coffee grounds, and then it comes out as an espresso. So yeah, I even have a SHTF espresso machine. Um, I love Dave Canterbury's stuff, and he had his For a short while there, they had a video where they were having people do cooking using his equipment. And if you sent in a recipe and you used his equipment, they would send you that equipment for free as a thank you for it. And so Dave Canterbury does two different things as far as, well, actually three. He has three different ways of cooking bread that I am aware of. So the first one, of course, is the organic bread. So that's where you're going to make your bread. You're going to wrap it around a stick, and you're just going to basically, let it heat off to the side of the fire with indirect heat from the fire. The second one he does is pan bread. So he does it, mixes it and everything else, and then throws it in a pan, lets it brown on one side for about 5-10 minutes, and he'll flip it over and do the other side. And the way he does it, it turns out almost like a regular loaf of bread. A little bit on the heavy side, but it is very good. The third one he does is he uses his bush pot, and then he sells a grate that fits inside the bush pot. So you turn the bush pot on its side, put that grate inside, put your bread on top of it, close it up, and this bush pot even has a temperature gauge. So that now once you've got the bush pot all closed up and it seals pretty much, then you can put it in the fire. You can put coals on top of it, coals around it, get it to the temperature you want, and that way you're using it as an oven. So that becomes his way of oven baking bread. Gosh, my mouth is not working. But that's his way of baking bread, cinnamon rolls, or anything else like that in a campfire environment. For those of you who don't know who David Canterbury is, probably one of two preeminent survival backwoods experts here in North America. We are very fortunate to have him here in the United States. There's another guy, I forget his name now. He's a French guy up in Canada. The two of them are basically the two bushcraft experts here in the States. That I think David Canterbury has a very good name. He has very good equipment. I have a lot of his equipment. I really like his Pathfinder knife. I have it. I have a lot of his equipment. As a matter of fact, I even demonstrated his campfire cook set here maybe 6 months ago. It comes in a black canvas bag. But I can do that one again as well, because it has that bush pot I'm talking about where you turn it on its side, and it also comes with the grate. No, I have not tried it. I haven't even heard of it, to be honest with you, Triple G. So I'll have to check into that. There's David Lynn. So we were talking about you earlier, David, about your completes short that you did. And I said, I was not that impressed with the taste. I'm not as impressed with the taste of the completes as I am with the can, even though theoretically it's the exact same thing. One gets poured into this container, the other gets poured into that. Maybe it's psychological on my part, but they did have a difference in taste, and I prefer the canned. I also told them that you and I are working on a date where you'll come in and we'll be talking about solar power as a result of our conversation today. KP Heathen, welcome from Louisiana. What part? So Triple J, sure is. Coffee is coffee is the first food group, and the hot chocolate is another one. I really liked hot chocolate out in the field, especially in Germany. When we went for Reforger, it was usually right at the beginning of the snow season. And then when I was stationed over there, I had 9 years. I was assigned to Germany, and so when we did field exercises in the winter, I tell you what, there's nothing better than a good cup of hot chocolate. So, that's something else you might want to consider. I've got to I don't know why, but my video pad keeps trying to open. So let me see if I can't get video pad to close. Okay, there we go. So one of the things David did a video, and he was talking about different kinds of individual servings of instant coffee. I took that kind of as a challenge. I've got several different kinds, and I've gotten them from Walmart. There's one Haagen-Dazs coffee. It was recommended by another warrant officer from Fort Huachuca. He was an all-source intelligence guy, whereas I was signals intelligence. But it's called Gray Man Prepping, or Gray Wolf Prepping. And he does ultralight backpack bug outs. And he's still down in the Fort Huachuca, Sierra Vista area of Arizona. So he's all in desert, lightweight stuff. He turned me on to Haagen-Dazs. Not Haagen-Dazs, Mount Hagen. Instant coffee, and it is phenomenal. So, and that comes in the little retorts too. I also really like Nutrient Survival Vitamin Enhanced coffee, their individual servings. So I'm just going to try a whole bunch of them. Maybe Helen and I'll do one day where we taste about 10 or 12 of them and see which one we like the best. Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that. We have no watering on Mondays, but Helen says that my peppers were in great distress today. So she went out and gave them a gallon or two of water to try to save them. And creative redundancy, we can always, if you have grounds, there's always the Army way. So the Army way is you take a pair of wool socks, pour your grounds down inside your wool socks. Clean ones, of course, are highly preferred. Tie a knot in the sock and then just throw that and let it seep in the water as you boil the water. Pull the sock out, the grounds come out with the sock. You've got water that way. So that's the most primitive way of doing it. You could do the same thing with a handkerchief or anything else where you could put the grounds inside something where it's going to be completely contained and not be able to seep through, but you're allowing the water to seep in. What it is when the water temperature reaches, I think it's 140 degrees, it releases the oils in the beans in the grounds, and that's what you really want. And then that oil mixes with the water, and so that's how you get coffee. And so you just want to release that oil into your coffee, mixing with your hot water. Emergency essentials sells freeze-dried dog food and long-term storage. I probably have 6 cans of it. I bought it maybe 10 years ago. It has a 25-year shelf life. I don't buy it that much anymore simply because I think it's way overpriced for what it is. When it gets to the point to where I run out of the dog food that I have stockpiled here, which is, you probably have 4 40-pound bags of Nutro. I probably have 4 cases of Pedigree, the little packets. They come 2 different kinds. One is chopped meat and the other one is meat and gravy. So we probably have 4 cases of that we go through. We rotate through. We keep 4 of those. Always replace the oldest. We use the oldest and replace it. So that the girls get fed that on Tuesdays and Fridays, and then on Sundays I give them Caesar. So we probably have 3 or 4 cases of Caesar, and that gets same thing. We've got 4 high, so the newest one goes on the bottom. Then we rotate through those. Once that's done, I'm going to be feeding the girls primarily canned chicken or freeze-dried chicken and rice. And if not that, then I'm probably going to be giving them pumpkin puree. So I have a whole bunch of cans of pumpkin puree that we can give them. And those are the things that I'm going to primarily be giving the girls to eat in a post-SHTF environment. Yes, and sweet potatoes as well. I was picking up, and that's a very good thing to point out, Muskoka Oma, is that I was picking up Old Roy, I think, which is the Walmart brand, every time I went. But now when it comes to whether I want to store canned dog food or canned human food, it got to the point where I decided I was going to use that space for human food instead of dog food. But now I have my dog food and the other thing. I have this dream that if SHTF happens, I'm going to immediately go to Walmart, or not Walmart, but Sam's Club or Costco, and get another one of those metal shelves. I'm going to fill it up with nothing but dry dog food and canned dog food and these packaged dog food. So I in my dreams, I want to have 4 shelves of nothing but dog food for the girls so we can take good care of them. Um, yes, and so that's how I got my cappuccino craze was with the Maxwell House International. Uh, Hello, bus stop, welcome. And okay, let me see where else we got going on here. Um, that's just my personal opinion, Dave. I mean, uh, everybody has different tastes. For example, we went through the MCIs earlier, the meal combat individual, better known as C rations from Vietnam era, and I absolutely abhorred the chopped egg scrambled with chopped ham. The thought of getting one of those caused me primarily to realize that tuna came in a different colored box. So even though the first sergeant turned it upside down, so he didn't know which box you were getting, I could tell which one the tuna was by the color of the box. And I probably lived off tuna 2 meals a day for a year. I occasionally get the lima beans and ham or something like that, but most of the time, just to avoid that chopped eggs or eggs with chopped ham. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. But different people have different tastes. I'm not saying don't get them. I'm saying try one, see what you think of the taste before you buy a whole bunch. My personal taste, I didn't care for it. I got the Hormel beef stew complete, and I compared that to the canned beef stew. So that's the basis for that personal decision. How's that? Uh, so now I was showing them earlier, David, that for example, you can get this, and right now this is around $11 or $12. It's one meal. The nice thing about this, and when we had these at Philmont, they weren't quite as nice as they are now. But you've got the tear seal here, and then you've got the Ziploc pouch here. So you tear this open, pour in your hot water, seal it, and then you let that seep for 5 to 10 minutes. You've got a meal. However, the other thing you can do is you can get a whole bunch more meals and the cost effectiveness is a lot better if you get them in the number 10 cans. So you can get all the different recipes of Mountain House, about seven to 11 meals per can, depending, at about 4 times the cost. So this is far more economical. The problem becomes one of you don't have the retort pouch to do your seeping in. So Rudy at Alaska Prepper recommended picking up one or two of these sealable, double insulated lunch boxes. Basically, it's over in the foods wares section at Walmart, and it's got a pressure release valve. So what you do is you measure out what you want for that meal, put it in here, add the hot water, close it up, let it seep, and then it pressure cooks at the same time that it's doing the seeping. And then, of course, you can release your pressure here with the red button before you open it up so you don't get a face full of steam when you're opening up. And that's going to be another one of those odorless tricks as far as cooking with that type of a thing. So let me see. Is there anything else that I have? No other surprises. All right. So that's pretty much it. Let's see where we are. Just don't get anything fattening. Make sure it's good and healthy. Well, thank you for being here, Creative Reunion. So we always appreciate you being here. And if you like the content, make sure you just leave us a thumbs up. And then if you would afterwards, if you think that the content is worth your friends getting some information, make sure that you hit that share button as well. And thank you for being a subscriber. We greatly, greatly appreciate that. So yes. And so one of the things that you have is one of the things I really like. Nutrient Survival has both chocolate and vanilla shakes that are nutrient enhanced. You can basically almost use that for a full meal. You can add some of that into your coffee as well and kind of come up with a homemade mochaccino that way. Oh, I didn't mention. I think I mentioned cream of wheat and oatmeal, or another one of those meals. You just add hot water, let them seep. I have a gag factor when I eat either cream of wheat or oatmeal, and I can't swallow it. And so that's a psychological thing. The other psychological thing is we were being attacked, and we went into lights out condition. And my buddy who sat next to me, Billy Budd, was a chewer. He used wintergreen chew, whatever it was, and we had gotten in a case of Pepsi, and so we were in the back of what's called an M2902 expandable 5-ton truck. So it's a big shelter on the back of a 5-ton truck. The sides fold down, the wall, and then the sides fold up, and then the walls push out. So you get double the size of the 5-ton bed, and this is this big office, and you got the desk in the middle. So we go into blackout conditions. We're inside, and so I reach up and grab his spit cup and to drink my Pepsi, and I grabbed the wrong cup. That was in April of 1971. A Pepsi can has not touched my lips since 1971 as a result of that experience. Just I have some weird things. I can't eat oatmeal, can't eat cream of wheat, can't drink Pepsi. Lots of weird things, I guess. Just psychological trauma, I guess, is what you might call it. Um, wow. Yeah, I had when I was looking for the stuff here, I was looking. I had to go way back in my pantry because I bought my things in sequence, and so since I've been doing this for almost 50 years, there are some things back in the back of the pantry that I prioritize. I got early on, so when I was first starting out, I focused on the meals. So I focused on the Mountain House type stuff, on this stuff. I focused on the Wise Foods. I focused on all those kinds of things. So that is basically further back in my pantry closet. So in order to get that, I had to move some stuff out, and I found a salami log back there that was starting to mold. So I had to throw it out today. So and then after I got all those instant meals that were very easy to cook, then I started getting into the Algerson Farms, Saratoga Farms, Harmony House, Thrive Life, Rainy Day Foods, all these different companies, Emergency Essentials, who have components. So now I can cook what I want. I'm not restricted to only having lasagna or only having spaghetti and meatballs or only having chili mac. Those are 3 of my favorites, by the way, from Mountain House and the others. So like I brought this out. So this is my tub of those things. Oh, gosh, because I got to put my Mountain House meal back into it when I put these up this evening. So this is my little individual servings type of a tub. All of my LERP rations are in here. I've got Wise Foods. So here's another Wise Foods. And so this one, it just happens to be all Mountain House and Wise. I've got Legacy. I've got 7 others. I got all this Bridgeford stuff, the LERP rations in here. So that's just kind of how that goes. And I'm going to put this Mountain House back in here so I don't forget. And that's ready to put up when this video is over. So, but that's kind of so I kind of prioritized how I acquired certain things by when do I think I would need them in the apocalypse. And so the instant meals to me is probably the best way to go for that first initial period after you've used up everything in your refrigerator, freezer, and after you're grilling out back and everything else. You don't want your neighbors to know you're cooking. The instant meals just make sense. Just add boiling water, let it seep, and you're good to go. So Mountain House, Nutrient Survival, Wise, Legacy, what's that? Henry, O'Reilly, whatever. Legacy, Wise Foods. What's that other one? I forget that other company's name. That one I just found I bought my first one from them this weekend at Academy. Okay, so that's kind of where we are. What do y'all think? Was this of any use to you? Did you get anything out of it? Have you got a new idea? Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to talk about next, where we might want to go. One of the things that I'm doing, TJ in Georgia, and welcome, by the way, thank you. Welcome for being here. Is I'm kind of switching over from cans with ground beans in them. I had a dozen of the Costco generic, the Costco, what are they called? I forget the name of their house brand. I had probably a dozen cans of Costco coffee, and I go through one can a month. So that would have been a year's worth. But what I'm finding is that sometimes after about a year, it's getting to where it doesn't taste as good. So I'm going more and more towards beans, whole beans. They last longer. And of course, I have an SHTF grinder. So that's how I'm going to be getting my pour over coffee or my brewed coffee, if you will. Rice and beans are good. As I said earlier, if you get these where you're just, remember the topic we're talking about tonight is we're talking about cooking without odor. So if you get something like this where you can just add boiling water to it, then that's great. Same thing. There are some instant refried beans that you can get, and I just don't have any. I have some number 10 cans of them from the LDS store. They no longer make those. They discontinued those about 5 years ago. I have some packages of instant freeze-dried refried beans. Those would be good to go with it as well. Then, of course, Thrive Life sells refried beans in a PC, which is a number 2.5 can and that's 7 servings. 12 boxes a minute, right? So just think of it, that's 12 meals. So if you have one meal a day, that'll last you just under 2 weeks. So yeah. So the only ration bars I will tell you I have tried and I like are the Nutrient Survival. This is the chocolate crunch. I have tried the peanut butter. I love the peanut butter. The peanut butter survival meal bars are phenomenal. These are good plus. I definitely, so this is what we have in our bug out bags right now. And then of course, I also like the chocolate chip cookie meals. And then they have the peanut butter cookie meals. So yes, I have tried them from Nutrient Survival. That's the only place I have tried them from that I have really said I could eat these and survive on these. I haven't tried that many simply because I'm not convinced that that's something I'd want to do for a long-term period. So Sandy, that's something I told her about earlier, that Emergency Essentials has freeze-dried dog food in a number 10 can, and I probably have a case of those. So yeah, that is, I don't know if it's still available. I probably bought them about 5 years ago. And yeah, they do have them. So Emergency Essentials. And I think that their website is beprepared.com is their website. Warning, batteries on mouse about to die. Yes, and thank you for that reminder, David Lynn. Watch out for school zones as you drive. Also, next weekend is tax-free weekend here in Texas. So there's a lot of our items. If you need writing supplies, office type supplies, things like that, that's going to be tax-free this next weekend. Clothing, all that kinds of stuff, tax-free. Next weekend is the weekend to do that. Of course, food is always tax-free in Texas. Yeah, that's exactly why I say, my tastes are my taste. So I recommend that other people try something before they buy a whole bunch of it. I try. So let me be honest with you. The last time I had a lifeboat ration was back in the 1960s, and they were god awful. It was like eating wax, and so I just have not been that impressed with buying anything like that since. Oh, here's another one. I meant to get out my pilot crackers uh, because that was in the B rat in the B cell of the MCI, the C rations. But we always had crackers, 7 crackers to a can. Still haven't figured that out. But then, and peanut butter and jelly. So you can always, that's another one of those simple, nutritious meals you can have, these crackers, peanut butter and jelly, and that will make a good meal for you as well. Caffeine boost. Mountain Dew and I think it's Knee High Orange are the 2 drinks that have the highest caffeine. So David likes the six Mountain House meals. I see, and for me that's $66, and for $66 I could, if you buy them individually. I don't know what it's going to cost for the case of 6, but I can get 7 meals out of a number 10 can for around $50. So I'm doing dollar costing here. So that's where I am on that. If I were to use them for bug out bags, I would definitely want the individual packages. I have never tried the dried ice cream bar, to be honest with you. So thank you for that input. Appreciate that. Hello, My Prepper Journey. I think you're absolutely right. So make sure. So one of the things I have, and my grandsons found them. I have a tub, one of these, about this size or 2, full of Lifesavers and butterscotch, cherry, different flavors. I have some Jolly Rogers, basically all hard candy. And so I think that's going to be something that's going to be essential for us in a post-apocalyptic world, is be able to hand out candy. Now, I prefer the individually wrapped Lifesavers, so that there's a little bit of sanitation to it, but I'll take it any way I can get it. And so, Jolly Ranchers, Lifesavers, Sweet Tarts, all those hard type of candies. I've got plenty of those to for morale purposes as well. Hello, My Prepper Journey. I think I said hi. I hope so. So. Let me see here. So oatmeal is the one. It's down here on the floor somewhere. Oh, there it is. So I wanted to do a video. I want to take my sterno with my Boy Scout stove that I showed you how I make in the tuna can. And I want to use that along with my Kelly kettle to boil the water. And I wanted to get a meal and show you how simple it is and how easy it is inside the house with no fear of carbon monoxide. Well, minimum fear of carbon monoxide, no fear of anything dangerous going on. You can cook inside. You can boil water, not produce any odor, and cook a meal. So I said, well, I'm going to go, because I didn't want to dig in my way back in the pantry to get this out. This is on top of the other 5. Didn't want to get that out of the pantry. But I decided to get it out for this. So I went Saturday to Academy, and this was $2 cheaper. And it's called Oatmeals. So this is turkey chili with beans. And it's got if you look here, it's got a little vent seal here. So it's got 4 packages inside. So you got this outer package, you got your inner package with your food in it, you've got a heating package, and then you've got a utensil package. Open this up, take out the utensil package, which leaves the food package and your heating package. Let me see, I'm trying to do this. Your food package and your heating package inside. Add water to the fill line, come back up. It's got a zipper top. Close the zipper top. It's got the steam exchange here, because what you're doing is creating a chemical heat production. And that's going to do all your heating for you with that chemical reaction so that you don't have any flames, you don't have any fire. It's going to be self-heating. And it's $2 cheaper than Mountain House. So yes, I'm going to try this. We're going to see how this does. And especially if it's $2 cheaper than Mountain House, then I'm going to go for it. So I'm going to do a video on this. We'll try it and see how that works. Let me see where else we are here. Where are we time-wise? Oh, we're a minute, hour, and 5 minutes. Golly. Okay, Holly Irvins, thank you. That's a great idea. Thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you, Pat. Always good to see you. Asian rice vermicelli noodles are no cook and a good base for a meal. Absolutely. Here's another thing. When we talk about cooking, we want to reduce our cooking time. So get angel hair instead of spaghetti. The smaller the pasta noodle, the less time it takes to cook. And one of the things you want to do is conserve your fuel for as long as you can. So the sooner you can cook something or warm something up, the better off you're going to be. Okay, I think that's about it. We're going to probably wrap this one up. Did I show you the sous vide? I think I did. Yeah, the bumblebee. The bumblebee snacks, ham salad, chicken salad, tuna salad, all the different salads that they've got on these. It's a little can of spread with another system of crackers. There you go. It's on the side. You got this. See, this makes sense to me. It's 6 crackers. The Army Sea Rats had 7. And you got a little spoon so you can spread it. This is a nice little snack. 2 of these would make a nice little meal in a post-SHTF environment. Okay, that's it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this one wrapped up. Thank you all so much for being here. Don't forget to be here tomorrow night. We're going to start David Kobler's book, United We Stand. David Lynn and I were talking today. And one of the things that you've got to be extremely concerned about, especially for producers, if you're out there showing stuff like this, people know you have it in your house. You've got to make sure you don't do it until you have security established. So unless you have a good group around you who is as concerned about taking care of you as you are of taking care of yourself, don't do stuff like this. Don't do videos like this, okay? So this book by David Kobler is basically United We Stand, how to form a group in your neighborhood of people that you can trust in a post-SHTF environment. So tomorrow night, this is the book we're going to start on, chapters 1 and 2. There will be a link in the show notes. Amazon Express will get it here to you within a day. Okay, so I think that's it for the evening. Well, let's go to Numbers chapter 6, verses 24, 25, 26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord let his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you kindly and grant you peace. So remember, we are all in this together. You guys have such great ideas. You ask such great questions. Thank you so much for your ongoing, continuing support. It's almost like a family. Thank you so much for being here. Please be kind, polite, and respectful to each other, because togetherness is the key and the only way we're going to make this through. This thing that's going to be happening soon is for us all to be together. Please stay safe, stay aware, and take care. Love you all. Bye-bye. Let me get rid of all these other channel notices that I got going on up here so I can get to the end broadcast. There we are. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.